Alex. This is my YouTube channel. Welcome. Thank you for joining me today for this Feel Your Best Vata Dosha yoga practice. So this practice is going to help you feel so good in your body, so good in your being. It's going to help you feel good mentally, physically, and emotionally, especially if you are someone who has primary Vata Dosha in your prakriti, in your state of being. So, for those of you who don't know much about Ayurveda or the doshas, Vata is essentially a mind-body type, and people who have a lot of Vata tend to be restless, scatterbrained. They tend to be a little bit on the nervous side, more anxious. They tend to be stiff in their joints, although flexible at times, but a lot of times there's stiffness that comes to the joints. Vata people also tend to be easily excited, more on the creative side, and just very free-flowing in nature, and that's when they're balanced. So this practice should help to stimulate those positive effects of being a Vata person and help to reduce the negative effects, that scatterbrained tendency, that spaciness, that lack of ability to focus, that fearful kind of tendency, that inability to sit still. Vatas are always moving on the go, and they have a hard time sitting still. So hopefully this practice helps you find balance so that you feel your best. We're gonna go ahead and get started lying flat on the mat. I've got a friend with me today. My dog Chief is resting right here at the edge of the mat. You can kind of see his little paw right here. So please don't mind him if he moves around a little bit or starts to snore, but he's going to be hanging out with us today. All right. I'll meet you down on the mat. So as you find your way down onto the mat, lying flat on your back, we're going to start with some movement right away. Let's head the knees into the chest. Give yourself a squeeze and just notice where you feel tight, how your body feels today. Notice how it feels to hug the knees into the chest. Notice the ground underneath your back as you rock back and forth from side to side, massaging the back into the mat. Notice yourself being supported by the ground, and just be aware of your body. Maybe for the first time today, being aware of your whole body. We're going to add some movement. Hands both come around the right knee. We're going to extend the left leg long onto the mat. Pause for an inhale. And then exhale, let's switch. We'll hug the opposite knee in towards the chest. Lengthen the right leg long. Pause for your inhale. And then exhale, switch. We're going to keep going back and forth. Go at your own pace. Move with your breath. Pause on each inhale. And switch on each exhale. Notice the quality of your breath today. Is your breath quicker? Are your movements quicker? Or is your breath slow? Are your movements slow? Because we're matching the movement with the breath. So if your breath is quick, your movements will be quick. If your breath is slow, your movements will be slow. And as we move through practice, we are going to aim to slow the breath and slow the movements. So if you find that you're on the quicker side right now, that's okay. Be where you are. Allow it to be. Just do what feels good. Do what feels right in your body in this moment. Really good. The next time the right knee comes into the chest, we're going to pause. Let the left leg come all the way down on the mat. Keep the left leg flexed. We're going to start to do some opening up through the right leg. So let's lengthen the leg, reaching the foot up towards the ceiling. You can grab hold behind the hamstring, or if you comfortably reach the calf muscle, you can grab the calf muscle. If you can't comfortably reach, you might want to grab a strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, a belt would work really nicely, or a tie, or a scarf, or anything that you can use to loop around the foot and make it a little bit more comfortable to reach. I'm bending my knee now, and then pull the knee in towards the chest. Pause for an inhale, and then exhale, switch. Really good. All right, so we're gonna lengthen the leg, grab hold behind the hamstring, or if you can reach the calf muscle, then to the calf muscle. We'll pause here for a few breaths like we did on the other side. And then maybe this side's different. Maybe you can't quite reach the toes. Again, you can always bend the knee, or if you have a prop, find the prop, grabbing the strap or the scarf or whatever you have handy. Pull the knee in. And then let's have both knees into the chest. And then from here, let's set up for a little happy baby. So I'm going to grab my toes because I can comfortably reach them. If you can't, grab the ankles, and we'll start to pull the knees towards the armpits in opposite directions, starting to open up a little bit more through the hips. Maybe you like to rock back and forth. Key to this posture is the shoulders should be grounded on the mat. So we're not rounding ourselves up in order to reach. We want to have the shoulders grounded. The entire length of the back is flat on the mat. And if it's comfortable, you can rock from side to side a few times. Good. All right, let's bend the knees. Pull the knees back in towards the chest one more time. And then from here, let's rock like a ball back and forth until you come all the way up to your seated position. And then we're gonna find our way onto hands and knees and just take a few rounds of cat-cow together. So on the inhale, lift the chest, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. On the exhale, round the back, pull the belly button towards the spine, let the head move down between the arms. And then inhale, lift the chest, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. Exhale, round the back, pull the belly button towards the spine. A couple more rounds. Move at your own pace. See if you can start to match your movements with your breath. And notice if you feel like your breaths are still quick, or if you naturally feel like you can start to slow your breaths down and slow your movements down. And then one more time, round the back. And come back to your neutral spine. We're going to bring the right leg forward between the hands to set up for a low lunge. I'm going to scooch my left knee back as far as is comfortable so that I start to feel sensation through my left hip flexor. And then my front knee is lined up over my ankle. And I'm going to shift my hips back and forth. On the exhale, shift the hips back, lengthen the leg so to open up through that front hamstring. And then on the inhale, bend the knee, come forward. And then exhale, shift back. Move with your breath. This is at your own pace, wherever you are right now. And then the next time your hips come back, let's pause for a moment and let that hamstring start to open up a little bit more. So really soften the upper body down, not forcing anything that feels uncomfortable. And just start to slow the breath down. Smooth the breath, deepen the breath, and allow the breath to tell your body that it's okay. So your hamstring can start to open up comfortably. Good, and then bend the knee, come forward. From here, we'll curl the back toes, lift the back knee, and step forward into a standing forward fold. So both feet come together, bend through the knees, rest the upper body down towards the legs, head hangs heavy. Really good. And then from here, we're just gonna step the right foot back so that the left leg stays forward. Lower the right knee down onto the mat, space between the right knee and the left foot, and the left knee is lined up over the left ankle. And then we'll start to move. On the exhale, shift your hips back, lengthen your front leg. On the inhale, come forward, bend the knee. Move with your breath, go at your own pace. He's dreaming. You can hear his little paws scratching against the wall. Next time you shift your hips back, pause here. Holding the torso down towards the front leg, opening up through the hamstring, using the breath, slow, smooth, deep, to help tell the body it's okay so the hamstring can start to naturally unfold and open up. Good, and then bend the knee, come forward, and let's go ahead and find our way into a standing forward fold. So pick up the knee, step forward, and find your standing forward fold. Bend the knees, upper body rests down towards the legs. And then inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold hands to the mat. Let's step back to downward facing dog. And then take a few breaths in downward dog, pedaling the feet a little bit, adding some movement. Any kind of movement that feels natural and nice in your body as you adjust to this posture for the first time. So maybe it's pedaling the feet. Maybe you like to shift forward into plank pose and then back to your downward facing dog. Any movement at all that will feel good in your body as you adjust to this posture. Gradually starting to work your way towards some stillness, getting strong in the posture. Inhale to look forward between the hands, travel your feet to the top of the mat and find your forward fold. Bend the knees, upper body rests down. And then inhale, lift halfway, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms reach up towards the ceiling, and exhale the hands down to heart center. Awesome. From here, we're going to find a chair pose, and we're just going to move in and out of chair pose a few times with the breath. So the arms will come down alongside you. On the inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bend the knees, sink the seat down nice and low, and then inhale all the way up. Exhale, sink the seat. Inhale up. Exhale, sink down. Can you go a little lower? Inhale up. One more time, exhale, sink the seat down nice and low. You can keep the arms reaching above the head or take the hands together at heart center for a little bit more ease here. We're gonna transition through warrior three into high lunge. Bring your weight into your right foot, get light on your left toes, and then pick your left foot up, heel towards the glute, and then send the leg back for your warrior three. Pause here just a moment. Reach out through the leg that's towards the wall behind you. Engage through the glute. Press into that standing foot tall. Belly button pulls in towards the spine. And then bring the foot all the way down to find your high lunge. Reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Awesome. Let's pause here. Breathe. Smooth the breath. Allow it to be deep through the body. And then transition into a warrior two. So the heel of the back foot comes down onto the mat. Arms reach out in opposite directions. Bend into the front knee. Hips now open towards the long edge of the mat. Let's add a little bit of movement. On the inhale, arms reach up as you lengthen the front leg, palms touch. Exhale, bend the knee, reach the arms out in opposite directions. And again, inhale, lengthen the leg, reach the arms up. Exhale, bend the knee, reach back out. Keep going. Can you start to slow your breath down? And at the same time, slow your movements down so that your movement matches your breath. And then the next time you find warrior two, pause and hold it there. Get still. How still can you get? Can you keep the breath smooth, deep? Start to quiet the breath to facilitate your stillness. Notice your desire to come out of the pose. Stay strong. And then soften the arms, lengthen the leg, turn the toes. Now we're in a wide-legged stance. We'll come into a wide-legged forward fold. Hands to the hips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips. Fold all the way down. Hands can come to your ankles, to the mat, or you can grab opposite elbows here. Notice if you feel inclined to add movement to this posture, and try to resist that for now. Just remain in stillness. And then from here, walk your hands around to the front of the mat, framing the foot, and step your way back to downward facing dog. Really good. Let's pause here. Option to stay in your downward facing dog or shift forward into a plank pose with me and pause, hold it here, belly button to the spine, hands pressing firmly into the mat. Stay here or in downward dog or flow through vinyasa with me. On the exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, lift up, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll all meet here in the downward facing dog. On the inhale, look forward between the hands. Start to travel the feet to the top of the mat and find your forward fold. Bend the knees. Inhale, lift halfway and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, arms reach. Exhale, hands down to heart center. And then we'll move through our chair flow once again. So inhale, arms reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bend the knees, sink the seat nice and low. Inhale all the way back up to standing. And then again, exhale, bend the knees, sink the seat nice and low. Inhale all the way back up to standing. And again, exhale, sink the seat. This time we'll pause and hold it. Keep the arms up or take hands to heart center for a little more ease. We're going to flow through and transition through our warrior three. So we're going to bring the weight into the left foot this time. Get light on the right toes. Bring the heel of the right foot up towards the glute. And then send the leg back long behind you for warrior three. Belly button pulls towards the spine. Find balance here. If the foot needs to tap down, that's okay. If you wobble, that's okay. And then when you're ready, let the foot come down. Find your high lunge. Arms reach up towards the ceiling. Let's pause here a moment. Get stable. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Your feet being supported, your whole body being supported by the ground, by the mat beneath you. And then we'll transition into warrior two. You stay right where you are. I'm going to turn around and face the back of the mat so that you can see my face still and I don't have my back to you. All right. So let's add that movement to our warrior two. On the inhale, lengthen the front leg, arms reach, palms touch. Exhale, bend the knee, reach the arms back out. And again, inhale, reach, palms touch. Exhale, bend the knee, reach back out. Move with your breath, go at your own pace. See if you can start to slow your breath down and slow your movements down so your movement matches your breath. And then the next time you find your warrior two, pause, hold it, stay. Strong in stillness. Smooth, deep breaths. And then can you quiet the breath to facilitate this stillness? Do you notice your mind wants you to come out of the pose? Can you stay a little longer? And then soften the arms, lengthen the leg, turn the toes. Let's find our wide-legged forward fold one more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge forward. All the way down, hands to the mat, to the ankles, or grab opposite elbows, whatever you prefer. And again, see if you can maintain stillness here, even if you find that your body wants you to move around. Can you hold in stillness for this hamstring stretch? If your mind wanders, where does it go? What is occupying your thoughts? And can you come back to the breath and let those thoughts go? Just be here, be now. We're going to come back to the top of the mat with the hands to frame the foot and step back to downward facing dog. Awesome. Let's pause here, holding strong in downward dog, or shift forward and hold plank to hold here. Or on the exhale, lower down, chaturanga. On the inhale, lift up, upward facing dog. On the exhale, back to downward facing dog. And let's pause and hold here now. Okay. From downward facing dog, we're gonna inhale the right leg up towards the ceiling. Really, really reaching, lengthening, opening up through the back side of the left leg. Opening up through the front side of the right leg. Maybe you point the toes, maybe you open the hip, maybe you bend the knee and send the heel down towards the glute for a moment. And then lengthen the leg back out. We're gonna bend the knee and pull the knee in towards the nose, bring the foot all the way down between the hands. And then from here, set up for warrior one, bringing the heel of the back foot down onto the mat, toes point towards the top left-hand corner of the mat, and then inhale all the way up. Find your strong warrior one. And then we'll add some movement to our warrior one right away. On the exhale, lengthen the front leg, hinge forward, arms reach back. Try to stay long through the spine. On the inhale, bend the knee, arms reach up, come back to your warrior one. And again, exhale, lengthen the leg, hinge forward, arms reach back. Inhale, bend the knee, arms reach up. Keep moving with your breath and going at your own pace. Maybe once again, slowing your breaths down and then slowing your movements down to match your breaths. And then last time, let's come all the way down. Hands can come to the mat, or you can rest your hands on your ankle, or if you have a block handy that you can reach comfortably, you can go ahead and rest the hands on the block. And we'll hold here in our pyramid pose, moving that front leg towards straight, but always keeping a micro bend in the knee to protect the joint. See if you can press your weight evenly into both feet, so all of your weight is not dumping forward into that front foot. And then feel the ground once again beneath your feet supporting you. Feel the ground beneath your hands if your hands are resting on the mat. Smooth and deepen the breath. And then from here, we're going to set up for a standing split. So the hands will come forward, and then the weight comes into the hands and the front foot as the back leg lifts up towards the ceiling. Any amount. You can point the toes and open the hip. The leg doesn't have to come very high. Maybe it comes all the way up. Wherever you are is perfect. Maybe you start to get light on the fingertips and allow that standing foot to support you, the ground underneath your foot to support you. Maybe you can take one hand to the ankle. Maybe both hands can come to the ankle. Hold it here. Strong and balanced. If you fall out, that's okay. If you need to tap the hands down or the foot down, it's okay. Breathe. And then if the hands are on the ankle, bring the hands back down to the mat. Lower the back foot all the way down, coming into a lunge prep. And then from here, we'll come down into a pigeon pose. So the right ankle is going to come behind the left wrist, and the right knee will come down towards the right wrist. Hips lower all the way down onto the mat. Soften the back leg, the back foot. And you can stay right here. This is perfect. Or maybe you walk the hands forward and come down onto the elbows and find your way into a deeper pigeon stretch. And then smooth, quiet, deepen the breath. And slowly come on up to the hands if you made your way down onto the elbows. Curl the back toes, lift the hips, and find your way back into that three-legged dog, leg reaching up towards the ceiling for a moment. And then lower the foot back down, find your way into downward facing dog. Take a moment to get strong. And then we're going to do the other sides. The left leg reaches up towards the ceiling, all the way up, point the toes. Feel any sensation in your legs as you open up. Maybe you bend the knee, send the heel towards the glute. And then lengthen the leg, point the toes, and then bend the knee to the nose. Foot comes all the way forward between the hands, and we set up for our warrior one. So the heel of the back foot comes down, and the right toes are pointing towards the top right-hand corner of the mat. On the inhale, rise up. Find your warrior one. Take a moment to adjust as needed. And then we'll add that movement on the exhale. Lengthen the front leg, hinge the torso forward, reach the arms back. On the inhale, bend the knee, reach the arms back up. And then again, exhale, lengthen the leg, hinge the torso, reach the arms back. Inhale, bend the knee, reach up. Keep going, move with your breath. Slow your breath down, slow your movement down. Last round. On the exhale, come all the way down. Hands to the mat or the ankle or a block if you have one handy. Shift your weight into both feet, evenly distributing your weight. Feel the ground beneath you, supporting you. Under your feet, under your hands. Breathe slow and deep. And then we'll transition into that standing split so the hands come forward as you get lighter on the back foot. Lift the back leg up, toes pointing towards the ceiling if you like. Lifting as high as you like, or maybe you don't lift very high at all. Maybe this is where you are, that's okay. Be where you are. Feel the weight underneath of your front foot, the ground underneath of your front foot. Start to get light on the fingertips. Maybe you find balance by taking one hand to the ankle. Maybe both hands come to the ankle. Maybe one side is harder than the other. And you notice that. Breathe. Give yourself permission to topple over if you need to, or to keep both hands or one hand on the mat. Give yourself permission to be wherever you are today. If your hands are on the ankles, start to bring them back to the mat. And then we'll bring the back foot all the way down, come into that lunge prep. And then setting up for your pigeon pose, bringing the left ankle behind the right wrist, left knee down towards the left wrist, and then hips lower all the way down onto the mat if that's comfortable in your body. Soften the back leg, the back foot. Stay right here if this is where you are today, or come down onto the elbows if you'd like. Slow the breath. Deepen the breath. Quiet the breath. If you notice your mind is wandering, where is it going? What thoughts are creeping in? Can you set them aside and just be with the breath for another moment or two? made your way down onto the elbows, come back up onto the hands. Curl the back toes, lift the hips, step back to your three-legged dog. Take a moment here. And then both feet down onto the mat, downward facing dog. And then from downward dog, we'll come down to hands and knees. And then let's take a few rounds of cat, cow, child's pose. So on the inhale, we're gonna lift the chest, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. Exhale, round the back, send the hips back towards the heels, child's pose. Inhale, come forward, lift the chest, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze, find your way into your cow stretch. Exhale, round the back, send the hips back towards the heels, child's pose. Nice and slow, inhale, coming forward, lifting up, hands and knees, cow stretch. Exhale, round the back, hips back towards the heels. Child's pose, one more round like that. On the inhale, come forward, lift up, lifting the chest and the tailbone. Exhale, round the back, hips back towards the heels, and settle into your child's pose, arms reaching forward. Forehead resting down onto the mat. Slow, deep breaths. Smooth breaths. Quiet breaths. And then find your way up to hands and knees. And come into a seated position on the mat. Awesome. We'll cross the legs if that's comfortable for your body. And then we'll find a little bit more movement as we twist through the spine. So arms down alongside you. And then inhale, arms reach up towards the ceiling. Slow exhale, slow twist to the right. Left hand comes to the right knee, right hand rests behind you on the mat. And then inhale, slowly untwist as you reach the arms up. Exhale, slow twist to the left. Right hand to the left knee, left hand behind you. Inhale, back up and back to center. Exhale, slow twist. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, slow twist. And inhale, back to center, arms reach. Exhale the arms all the way down. We'll take the legs out long in front to prepare for our forward fold. You can have any amount of bend in the knees to help support yourself in this fold. Flex the feet, sit up tall. And then start to bring the torso down towards the legs any amount without rounding the back. Keeping the spine nice and long for as long as you can. Pause where you get stuck and then inhale, lengthen. Exhale, see if you can't come down just a little bit further. And then again, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, all the way down, round the back, rest the head down towards the legs, soften the arms. And if you'd like, focus your attention on lengthening your exhale so that your exhale is slightly longer than your inhale. And then on your next inhale, lengthen the spine and rise all the way up out of your fold. Beautiful. Let's come down onto the mat. Rolling all the way down onto the spine and then pulling the knees in towards the chest. Give the knees a hug, give yourself a squeeze, maybe a little rock from side to side. if you like the way that feels. And then feet to the mat. We'll take a few rounds of rolling bridge together. So arms are down alongside you. Heels as close to the glutes as is comfortable. And then press the feet into the mat. Lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, hips all the way back down. Go slow. Slow your breath. Slow your movements to match your breath. One more time, we'll lift the hips. This time we'll pause, pressing the feet down into the mat, pressing the hands into the mat, the shoulders into the mat. Hips are lifted, legs are strong, engaged through the glutes. And then release hips back down to the mat, hug the knees back in towards the chest. And then slowest movements, slowest breaths of the day. On the inhale, lengthen the arms behind you, reach the feet up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, slow hug the knees back in towards the chest. And again, inhale, reach the feet up, reach the arms back. Exhale, hug it all in. One more time, inhale, reach. Exhale, hug everything back in towards the chest. And then feet rest down onto the mat. And find your way into a comfortable Shavasana, lengthening the legs out long. Arms down alongside you. Allow your body to be supported by the ground. And see if you can start to release any gripping, holding, tension, tightness, discomfort in your body. Allow yourself to unfold into stillness. And then mindfully move your awareness to the crown of your head and see if you can start to soften the muscles along the crown of your head. Soften down through your forehead, around your eyes. Soften your cheeks, your lips, your jaw. And then let that softening move down through the muscles in your neck and your shoulders. Soften the upper arms, lower arms, palms of your hands and tips of your fingers. And then linger with your awareness for a moment at the tips of your fingers. Be aware of your fingers and your breath at the same time. Then bring your awareness to your chest and begin to soften through the muscles in your chest. Soften your abdomen, your hips, thighs, shins, the tops of your feet, all the way to the tips of your toes, and then linger at the tips of your toes. Be aware of your breath and the tips of your toes at the same time. And then soften the soles of your feet. your heels, calf muscles, hamstrings, and glutes. Soften through the low part of your back, up the mid part of your back, through the upper part of your back. Soften the back of your neck, the base of your skull, all the way up to the crown of your head. And then feel that your entire body has this sense of softness to it. And that with this softness, you're able to rest down more fully, more completely into the mat beneath you. And as your body rests, notice your breath. Start to get a sense that your whole body breathes together as one. So that for the next few moments, while you rest, your body breathes. And then slowly begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Roll ankles and wrists. Bring back little movements to the body in any way that might be helpful, any way that might feel nice in your body. Maybe you'd like to roll off and rest on one side for a couple breaths, allowing yourself to be fully supported by the ground for just another moment. Then as you're ready, make your way up to a comfortable seated position on the mat. And see if you can let your eyes rest closed or fixed softly at a focal point. Take a moment. Absorb that really good feeling that you have as a result of your practice and your Shavasana. Sit with that. Appreciate it. Set the intention to hold on to it. And then gather your hands together at heart center for a moment of gratitude. Together, let's give thanks for every moment of joy, peace, beauty, and bliss that we're blessed with in this life. And I'll give thanks for each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. I hope that you found it helpful, beneficial. I hope that you're feeling your best. And I hope to see you again soon for another practice. Namaste. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a little thumbs up for me, share it with a friend, subscribe to my channel, and come back and see me again for future practices. Until then, my name is Alex, and I'll see you again soon.